Señora Priscila, ya debe de estar llegando la información. Eso quiere decir que ya debería de poder picarle al botón
Hello, everyone. I'd like to welcome our viewing audience to another session of our Ed Talk series. I am Andrea Ferrari, founder and director at Whole Schools, together with my partner, Gabriela Gonzalez Pacheco. We have created these innovative spaces to inspire conversations around education during these unprecedented times. Education is being transformed, and at Whole Schools, we believe that well-being, happiness, and equity are the key to a sustainable change that is future-proof and that can face the consequences, the long and short-term consequences that we are up against. This is why we gather here with educational experts, opinion leaders in our sector that will help guide us through their international perspectives as we co-create the new landscape in education. So I'd like to welcome our guest of honor today, Ms. Priscila Ruiz Vergara from the International School, Altamira International School at Barranquilla in Colombia. Welcome, Ms. Priscila, and welcome, Gabriela.
Thank you so much for the invitation. I've been honored to be in this session today with you, Andrea. I've been a follower of your process of the growth of the Whole Schools project, and I've been in several of your sessions, and I've enjoyed every one of them. So, I mean, it's really my honor.
Thank you so much. Well, together with Gabriela, we give you a warm welcome to our program. We know that we're in for a great conversation today regarding leadership through these unprecedented times, or shall we say, leading through disruptive times. And we know that you're an expert leading through innovative practice, through holistic education that are the foundations of your school, and also a school that is internationally accredited through Advanced Ed, now Cognia, that holds the standards of academic excellence, and a community where all belong, and where learning is held at the heart, and you guide through this unshakable belief that no matter what happens, you will always safeguard the learning of the young people. So welcome again, Priscila. And today, to get started in our conversation, maybe you can tell us a little bit about how the pandemic has helped you to rethink the educational, instructional process within your programs, within the programs at your school, Priscila.
Well, these times are really unprecedented and disrupting, as you mentioned. I mean, the challenges we have faced with the school and with the community as well, and especially with our educators, kids, and parents. It's been, I mean, a time for, I don't like to use the word reinventing because everybody's doing the reinventing, but I think it's a way to evolve. I mean, I think that I'm finally getting into agreeance of what it means to educate the whole child. What changes, what strategies do we need to implement in school? Because now that we have our students online, we see that we are competing against video games. We are competing against their cell phone, which in school is prohibited. We are competing against all of the distractors that they might have at home. So basically what we've been trying to do is make educational much more meaningful, much more related to the kids' needs and their interests, which has been a challenge because we know that education has had a traditional way of doing things. And for us to actually change and evolve has been a total new issue. But this has been the perfect time, the perfect place for us to question our beliefs about our purposes. What are we doing to kids in the 21st century? Are we really teaching them what they need to be successful in their future professional endeavors? So that has been quite a challenge.
Thank you. Thank you for verbalizing this part that is so in the minds, in the process of everyone, the challenges that we're facing and how to move forward through that. Tell us a little bit about your journey, because last we spoke in December, you were getting ready to two things. Well, one, opportunity came around and you found yourself thrown into the midst of the classroom setting again. And I think there's no better way to interpret leadership than leading through example. Being in the classroom must be something quite unique during these times. Can you comment on that experience and how that's helped you as a leader?
Truthfully, when I thought it was going to be just a week challenge. I was faced with the fact that our English teacher for our 11th and 10th and 12th graders suddenly and unexpectedly decided to move back to Bogota, where she was from. And it was over a weekend. And then I don't know in which of my wildest dreams I said, yeah, I'm going to become responsible for 11th grade. But I thought it was going to be a few weeks and then I was done with the job. But you know what? Deep in my heart, I'm a true teacher. I don't believe that the role I play as an educator, leader, I feel that modeling what I truly believe in, modeling what really inspires me to move forwards every day. No matter the content that anybody teaches, any true educator teaches, you are placed in a classroom with students and you don't have to worry anymore about their learning process, but they're being really engaged in relevant learning that makes them move forwards, and you're always facing the whole child as a process. So for us, it's been a true challenge, and I believe that I will cherish this moment forever, because coming January, I thought that okay, it's my time to leave it for another person. But I myself started interviewing possible candidates, and believe me, Andrea, I just couldn't relate to any of them at that time. And I said, no, I don't think, or God is doing this for me, and I don't think I'm ready to move. So, here it was, we opened back our virtual program, and here it was again. So the kids were kind of, oh my gosh, she's here with us again, because, I've really been a bit demanding, and I can reconsider, I'm probably, asking them to do a lot of things and moving them out of their comfort zone. But it's been an incredible experience, which I've loved tremendously.
We love hearing this. You're so honest, and thank you for being so candid. And I love that you say that this is a time that won't come back. Everything we're living through, it's important to understand that when kids return, things won't be the same. So how do we plan for this school as you talk about evolving with the process and reaching for something different, for something higher, planning for the school that we've always dreamed of? What does that school look like to you, or feel like, or sound like? How do we start to reimagine this based on the experiences that we're living through today?
Well, Andrea, back in June of 2020, I thought to myself, this is never going to come back, at least in the near future. I hope that we are not hit with another pandemic. So I thought it's time for us to rethink our mission and vision as a school. So I was very courageous, because nobody was moving out of their houses at that time. But I asked a few of my leaders if they could meet with me for a couple of hours during the week, and we could, start doing the process, because even though we started it online, it was not the same as to facing ourselves in person back again. So now our vision is totally different from what it used to be. I mean, I remember our vision was like 2 paragraphs long and nobody remembered it. But now it talks about being an inspirational, innovative, inviting school, where our students are well-rounded, successful leaders, agents of change, and global citizens. So that's more memorable. I mean, that's more meaningful for me. And I have it on my mind, like, okay, today I'm gonna be working with these kids to make them change agents. What activities am I gonna do for them to remember and to transfer to another process? How am I gonna go deep inside of the learning process? What am I gonna do to capture their attention and maintain it, and compete with all the multitasking that they are doing at home? So it's really been a keen moment. I really have enjoyed it, and I think our school is moving forwards. You mentioned that we were accredited with Cognia, and that's true. It's been an honor for us to be accredited with such an excellent organization. And once you're accredited with a school, you have the possibility of being an external team reviewer for other institutions. So for me, that's been a challenge to actually learn and cooperate and collaborate with other schools and be able to pitch in your grain of sand to helping other schools come forwards as well. And now we are in the process of looking for the STEM accreditation, because I believe that the professions of the future have not even been invented. So, when I ask myself, okay, so my kids, are they going to be, the regular and traditional careers that we're going to follow, or are they going to be, probably more interdisciplinary? So for me, we had the possibility of building, and we constructed 2 new buildings, and one of them is a STEAM, because I believe that arts and music are so important in bringing up a well-rounded child or individual. So we have the building, and now it's our challenge to actually accommodate it to our students' needs. And also we've been working this year thoroughly in our pedagogical strategy. Becoming more project-based, actually, having kids get involved, inquire, investigate. So it's been amazing. Like, I'm an English teacher actually now. And so I had my kids in the midst of this pandemic. In December, I had them present their performance task at school. We were reading The Catcher in the Rye, which is a very controversial novel about an adolescent and that went through a lot of change processes, and it's been a novel that was actually for the 1950s, and so, but it's still so relevant. So I had my kids go, and they had to do TED Talks on stuff that they thought they might be encouraged to, like building their identity, self-confidence, motivation, all the better communication, and all the things that I thought were really important. And these are the soft skills that we never get to work with their students. So I could see it. And I thought that they were not going to go, but I was super amazed to see them on stage speaking fluently in English. I was very impressed and very proud of their work.
Priscila, I love what you're saying. And I keep going back to this challenge that we have when we're talking about leadership, which is kind of our topic today. And I think you have as you said, a unique opportunity, because you're getting the chance to share the battlefield, let's call it like that, with the teachers, which I think gives you a unique opportunity to lead while dealing with these things directly and just reinventing it, which I think is something that it takes time, and sometimes we don't have the patience for it, right? We're kind of pressed by the crisis, and we want to find the solution quickly, and we don't care if it is the correct solution. We just want to feel like we have control again. What do you think we could, reflect with other leaders who are having the same challenge, but don't necessarily share the battlefield, let's say, like you are doing at this moment?
I think that I do a lot of professional development in my school because I'm a true learner, a lifelong learner. I love to be in every professional conference that I feel I would benefit from. And I try to do professional development from my side, just from listening to a conference or following one of the educational leaders nowadays. But you know what? Now being in the classroom and actually experimenting with it all, I have had a different view, because sometimes I was imposing ideas in my educators, in my teachers, but I was not even sure that they worked or not. And now it's been a time for me to actually experiment with it and see the challenge, the enormous challenges that we face as educators nowadays. Mm-hmm. So it's been a tremendous experience, because it's not only talking about the theory, but actually putting it into practice, and also being a model for my teachers, because I know that they are probably impressed with the fact that I took the challenge no matter what. And my hands are full with work. You can't imagine, we're expecting our kids to come back this Monday. Mm-hmm. So in a hybrid mode. So I'm very stressed about it all, to keep them safe. You know, it's times that, I mean, they're very challenging, but also that produce quite a bit of growing in all of us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Priscilla and Gabi, you touched upon really interesting points. I want to go back to that classroom setting, Priscilla, that you're a part of. Tell us a little bit about that, because you're talking about project-based learning. And just last week, we had Jill Akers.
From Field International Education.
Field International, you got that.
I follow her on LinkedIn, and I met her in Bogota at Caobos, actually. She was there for one of the sessions with Frank Locker and some of the other people that came, which were remarkable people, and I met her.
How incredible. And there are no coincidences. Yes. And I think that that really comes to illustrate one of the things that you care most about, which is this idea that Jill really discussed last week about creating an environment where kids learning is relevant. It's about real world issues, and where they have a sense of agency. And she spoke a lot about the co-construction of their learning.
Definitely.
Would you say that in order for kids to be motivated and engaged, that is one of the ingredients within the learning environment that we need to deliberately plan for? And I guess project-based learning really lends itself to that.
Yeah, the things that I feel, and I felt it with my students now, that, I mean, if it's only the teacher that's actually, you know, evolving the theme or the process, and with no participation, just demanding, you know, actions on them, and probably it stays in superficial kind of knowledge, and we don't go deep inside the roots and actually make them feel responsible for the process, and why is it relevant in their lives, and why is it meaningful that they learn this, and when they are going to apply this knowledge in another circumstance. I mean, it's been great, because, you know, I can give you the example we're doing now. We're reading The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime, and it's about a kid with Asperger, and we have been evolving through how adversity gives us the possibility of finding new opportunities, and why does our world need different kinds of minds? So we're evolving in a project. I really don't know what they're going to be doing at the end, but we're co-constructing. We're saying, okay, how is this going to be meaningful? And I think that they're going to lead me towards what I want to see at the end. What is it that they're going to be doing, you know, to show me that the learning has stayed with them. So it's been great. And I do believe they need to be self-agents. They need to co-create with us, and we need not to impose all the content on them. They need to play with it. They need to actually collaborate. Now, collaboration is very different from what it used to be, but, you know, even though we try to do some online collaboration in school, you know, it's the 2 meters distance. So I don't know how I'm going to have them collaborate, you know, and, you know, try to stream a class. I mean, this is going to be a challenge, actually, being there and streaming and have kids at home and kids in school. I mean, yeah. I'm looking forward, but I'm very scared.
You know what, Gabriela, doesn't this sound like what another great leader that we've been working with, Amaris, over at Caobos?
Yes.
She was talking about the concept of adaptability, right, Gabby? And how we need to be adaptable and flexible, yet the challenge is how to remain within a structure that is going to provide that sense of security, that sense of trust that the larger community outside the classroom, I'm referring now to parents, who of course have, you know, they voice their concerns in terms of how are my children moving forward? Are they reaching those academic standards? So how is it that you find the balance between, you know, wanting to be flexible, wanting children to co-construct, wanting to be a part of the process, and yet still being able to be true to that structure that provides with that security in how our students need to continue to move forward and make parents, be a part of that process and be accepting of it. And the same goes for teachers, because sometimes we're at a loss, right? And we're afraid to fail, and we're afraid of that trial and error that can lead to down unknown paths. So what would you say to that factor of adaptability?
And if Andrea allows me to add a layer to that question, for me would be, how do we deal with the emotional layer? Because you've talked about a lot of the things that are, intellectually, we understand that we need to find that part of reinventing and creativity and all of these things, and we need to be adaptable and blah, blah, blah. And at the same time, we need to deal with the emotional component in all of the different members of the school community, which is, as Andrea said, parents and teachers and students and the unknown and all that it brings out. I mean, that's, I think, something really important.
Well, you know what, Gabi? I think it's all about relationships. I never start a class without connecting with my students. For me, those 3 minutes, those 4 minutes of connection, and with the teachers as well. Connection, and more connection. I mean, when they see that you actually care for them, that you're actually worried, and they're actually observant as to everything that's happening in their environment, and you make it relevant in the discussions, I mean, they immediately connect with you. It's all about, I follow Bill Daggett's rigorous framework for learning, and it's all about the 3 R's: rigor, relevance, and relationships. Rigor, and it's not more extra work and just piling up the work. No, rigor is actually bringing that knowledge over to the deep and the transferable processes. What is it that I want them to actually keep with them and use in another situation? The relevance is, how do I make this meaningful so that they have some property over this content? And the relationships, how do I ensure that in the process, I'm connecting with them? I'm actually appreciating their time. I'm actually, you can't imagine, these are 16 years old, and you know that you can't get them into much motivated that easily. But just telling them, listen, I'm proud of how you're handling the language. I mean, you're speaking so fluently. You can't imagine what that does for them. I can see from the screen that their heart is pounding. I mean, for me, that is enormous. It's just connecting with them. That's essential.
We truly agree with that, right, Andrea? Oh, I think your microphone is off.
Sorry, it brings to mind a phrase, the word connect, that I read earlier today. I'm going to read it back to you. Thanks, okay. Gabi. So the phrase says, connect to learn and learn to connect. The phrase is by Harrison Jones. So connect to learn and then learn to connect, which describes the daily reality of students and teachers trying to work together through this pandemic. So in moving forward, our school leaders, such as yourself, will have to be increasingly technological and savvy and well-informed. So it has generated a huge opportunity, yet a big pressure to buy into technological solutions, which brings me to your earlier point about embracing STEM, and rather STEAM with an A, right, into your programs, or at the heart of your programs, that allow, these digital programs that are chosen very carefully by you to strike a balance between technology and the pedagogy of your school that stands a long-term traditional background supported by years of family and a community that you have built where people feel like they belong. So what is the role that STEAM is playing as your students come back to the school? What are the new things that they're going to be faced with, and how does this enhance their experience and make them excited and motivated to come back and learn on campus?
Well, as a matter of fact, last semester, one time that they went to school, I just walked them through the building, and I talked about all the different areas that we were planning on building for them. and giving examples of what they were able to produce, and the ideas that they were able to construct in the building. So whatever crossed their mind as a possible solution for a current community problem, they could solve it via visual designing, or via a lab constructing something, in investigating the process, or maker spaces just building, or I don't know. It's just the possibility of them to actually dream about stuff that is relevant to them. For me, I'm an immigrant of technology. I am not a digital native. I mean, for me, technology, it's always a hassle. For me, it always gets me nervous, and I kind of get the jitters. But I've learned that this is the only way. I need to learn. I need to encounter this wonderful new world, and don't feel that it's challenging for me, because that's the world they live in, and they are such expert learners. I mean, so this is a possibility for them, and I'm dreaming of a school where kids don't want to move out. I mean, a school that when the bell rings, they still want to stay. Mm-hmm. I dream of the possibility that they're investigating and time flows, and they don't realize at the time it is. And, that's my big dream, connecting with them and really doing something for our community, because schools tend to be this little, capsule, and we never relate to our surroundings. What's happening? What does our city need? So it's not that way. I mean, they need to find that the work that they do is going to be useful for another human being or a group of human beings. So it's really an issue. How am I going to do to ensure that we're being relevant, and we're being rigorous, and we're keeping our relationships, but we're also relating to the community and its needs. So it's a major challenge.
Right, and that element of social awareness, how important it is now, correct? I mean, definitely. If we don't help them feel that they will be major contributors to social change, as they are incorporated into society, it's just a truly lost opportunity, right?
And they, that our students nowadays, they love to serve. You give them the opportunity to actually do service to the community, and they enjoy it thoroughly. I found that that's a way of connecting with them. Even if we can't imagine that that's something meaningful for them, it is. Mm-hmm, it is. They love to serve. They love to serve, and they love to see that their contributions are purposeful. So, I mean, what else that make it meaningful for the community, and they could see, okay, I helped elaborate this project together with our major or the government or the governor or whatever. So, it's bringing the authorities to the school, which they are so absent at times. I mean, we don't take them into account. So it's bringing them to our schools and having them work with our kids and having it be meaningful. Like today, our Spanish students, 8th grade Spanish students, are reading a book, and they had the opportunity of having a Zoom with the author of the book. So, I mean, it's impressive. And then she tweets this, like, I had a great time with, she didn't name the school because I know but she says, I had a great time just speaking with 8th graders from a school that are reading my book. So that's a privilege. That's a privilege that technology brings to us. I mean, we can connect with just anybody. And you think that people are not available, but they are. Just give them the possibility of inviting them, and they're going to be there for you as well.
Wow, thank you for reminding us of this very important notion that through technology, there are no barriers, there are no limits, no borders as to how far we can reach out. And certainly, as Gabriela said too, making our students socially conscious, becoming aware of group needs that go beyond the classroom, go beyond the school walls, creating that sense of empathy and engagement with the real world. What a wonderful thing that you can provide them with opportunities to engage through literature. Imagine having the author of the book you're reading to have, be able to answer your questions and have comments and engage in a conversation that could inspire one of the next writers. And of course, that's what we inspire them to make those connections.
Yes.
So Well, as we finish up, we have about a minute left, and I love this inspiring thought that our kids can be taught that they are able to make a difference in the world. Priscila, what advice would you like to leave for them, for those that are hearing you, the young ones, the children, the students in your community, and again, the parents and our wider audience? Leave us one inspiring comment, one thought that you would ask us not to lose sight of as we continue to face these challenging times.
I think that is, we cannot be invaded by fear. We need to be able to take risks, really meditated risks, those that we have studied. But I believe that if we don't jump into that lake, we are going to actually drown if we don't know how to swim. So it's keep on fighting. I mean, keep on striving. Don't lose the energy, because nothing transforms a human being than seeing the influence that you had on that student. And I see it in my alum when they call me and say, you don't know what I'm doing. I say, what are you doing? No, I'm doing this or that. And I get so excited. And I feel so privileged that they're out of school for 6 or 7 years and they're still contacting me as to let me know where they are at, because they know that makes me proud. So it's just, keep on the fight. We need to go against all odds. We need to make it through.
Of course.
That's lovely. Lovely closing remarks to know, and how inspiring to know that you've actually made a footprint. You've left in them that you've instilled in them that love for learning and that lifelong learner in them, that they will come back to you and have so much to share. It's been an honor having you in our program today, Priscila. We embrace you. Abrazos. For me, all the way from Washington and to Barranquilla, Colombia, to Mexico for Gabriela. Thank you both so much for the conversation today. Looking forward to future opportunities of working with you and collaborating. All the best. Felicidades a la comunidad.
Yes. No, thank you so much. You both, it's been a wonderful experience for me. Nothing gives me more joy than to speak about what I truly believe in. So thank you for giving me this opportunity to share my knowledge, my little bit of knowledge with the community. So it's been a great opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Priscila.
All righty. See you. Okay, thanks.